ETM Hotep. Peace, that's welcome and peace. You're tuned into the Seshu Medew Netcher channel. It's trimmed down and slimmed down to the Seshu channel. It's your brother Wujau. And today, tonight, this evening, I'm going to revisit a brief lesson on transliteration and translation. What's the method to do that? All right. I was requested to do this a few times lately, but I just haven't had a chance to get around to it. So I decided to go ahead and do it tonight. So if you're one of the ones who was curious about this process and may have missed the other 10 or so videos, where we actually much more than that, where we go over the transliteration and translation method as it relates to Rodney Kemet and Sesh Netcher, or the ancient Egyptian language and the hieroglyphic writing system, then you're in a good spot. You're in a good position because I'm going to go over it this evening in a few minutes. All right, so get your notebooks, get your pens, pads, your tea, your water, whatever it is you need, popcorn even, or whatever the case is, and just kick back and we're going to walk through this brief lesson and to clear up some things. So I'm going to go over it, and then I will open it up for any questions that anybody may have, want to come on the panel, or type your questions in the chat. But my main goal is to make sure that you walk away clear on the process and there's no confusion. I want to clear up any confusion on the process of transliteration and translations. All right, so but I want to give a shout out to everybody who's tuned in, because this is one of those pull-ups, pull up on you out the clear blue, and you all could be doing anything else, and I'm sure there may be other live streams going on or whatever the case is, but you chose to hang out, or at least check out what we're doing over here. All right, so shout out to Iniharet Kalfani up in the building early. Donnie Williams, peace, shout out. All right, so where to begin? So again, the goal is to make sure I clear up any confusion that you may have with transliteration and translation methods, or the method to do that. Also, I do want to clear up a few things that I've seen. I wasn't asked to go over, but I've seen people get confused about when it comes to characters, sounds, and what else is there? Consonants and vowels and things like that. All right, so just gonna go over a few of those things as well. All right, so but anyway, I hope you all enjoying your Tuesday. Today's April 12th. Now it's been interesting on the YouTube streets now. I've had a chance to scrub through a few videos or live streams, and people send me or ask me questions about other videos, because I make it clear that I don't have time to watch a lot of the videos. It's a lot, there's a lot of videos, and even if it's not a lot of videos, it's videos that are very long, so I can't sit down and watch them all. And then a lot of times people will catch them live while they're going on, and I'm not able to. So they may have questions from something that they saw in real time, and then they inbox me or whatever, if it relates to Egypt in any form or fashion. So and it's by the inboxing and the questions I get, I can pretty much tell what's been talked about, what's the topic of discussions for the week, and things like that. And so I know a hot topic is, well, it's been for a few weeks, Egypt and Christianity whether Christianity is stolen from Egypt or borrowed or um, has influences from ancient Egypt. And I know that's been a running topic, and I know the main figures in that discussion is the brother Garfield and the brother Jabari, because I think a debate has been brewing up for those two brothers to argue their points and what have you. So, and then on top of that, we're in a holiday season that's very focused on Christianity, which is Easter. Good Friday, Ash Wednesday, um, and Easter itself. So this a prime time to discuss, things related to Christianity and one of the core beliefs. Not even so much Christmas. That's the birth of Jesus Christ. But what's key in Christianity is the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's like very, very important to the system. I mean, without that, there would be no Christianity. So anyway, so I can tell that those are hot topics, and so I got some questions about. Um, I get obviously some things that were said about Egypt and Christianity. It comes to the resurrection and stuff like that. So, but I don't get involved in that framing of those conversations where Christianity is versus ancient Egypt in terms of it, whether it's stolen or borrowed or whatever. I think that if a discussion is to be had, then I think people should just compare the core tenets of Christianity and find similarities, if any exist, in other cultures, and then just discuss them. Just discuss similarities. I think that'll be that would be a nice thing, a good thing to do, because a lot of people may not even realize that there are elements in many cultures that are very, very similar to each other. For whatever the reason is, or however it became similar, the fact that it's similar, I think that needs to be discussed. All right. So anyway, I'm going to jump into this, and just going to dive straight on in. All right. So again, shout out to all 7 million of you all who are tuned in, and let me know if you all can hear me. I've been doing all this talking, and I haven't done my normal mic check. If anyone can do me a service and let me know you can hear me, I would greatly appreciate that. And then I'll just dive in. I'm assuming everyone is ready. Shout out to brother American Dream. See you popped in to the chat. I am just hopefully y'all can hear me. Spin Barrel, peace to you. I guess that thumbs up is you can hear me. All right. All right. I would like to hope so. Okay. So, all right. So now, you're gonna have some takeaways. Now, what I want you to take away is this is a to-go box that you all gonna have at the when I'm done, and I want you to take away and share the information. If you learn something, share it. If you hear anybody discussing this and everything like that, let them know where they can get more information from. All right, so I'm gonna just jump straight on in to this. So let's go right over to it. All right, so you all remember that the title of this live is a quick lesson review of transliteration and translation and the method. So on the thumbnail image, you have what is transliteration. But even before I get to that, I want to discuss a few other things. So let me back up. So I need some participation. So I hope you all up for it. And I know there's a delay, and this makes this difficult. But I want some participation. I need some participation from you all. Because every now and then I'm gonna ask you all some questions. So I want everybody in the chat to answer. Do your best to answer this question right here. Answer that question. And in fact, what I'm going to need to do, in case you all want to hop on the panel and read it, let me put the panel link. Something I forgot to do. Here's the panel link. Join the panel and read this to us all, if you can. That's the panel link. Jump on the panel. Read. We're gonna be like Bible study. The Hebrew Israelites. Read. Wujao slide number 1. Question: can you read this? So either you could type it out in the chat, type it out the way you would read it and pronounce it. But this is really an exercise for you to read it out loud. And obviously I can't hear you read it out loud unless you come on the panel. But I'll take either or. Read this out loud. Come on the panel, read this out loud. Or type it out into the chat. All right, so now there's a lag right now, so I'm going to keep on talking. I don't like that awkward silence. So what else been going on this week? So I know that got Easter around the corner. Springtime was official start of spring was March 21st, I believe. And I'm a spring baby, by the way. My birthday is in 2 days. My birthday is Thursday. Falls on a Thursday this year, April 14th. All right, so my birthday is loading, as people say. Yeah, and if you're feeling generous, and you like to celebrate people's birthdays, I do have an extensive wish list for books on Amazon that I'll be happy to share. I'll be happy to share that. All right, any answers? Any answers? I'm looking for any answers in the chat. I mean, is it that much of a delay, or people are just, or no one's actually making an attempt? No one's making an attempt? Or is the delay so long that I feel like I'm sitting here by myself? All right, Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, actually, let me put your answer on the screen. Okay, he says, according to a research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be at the right place. The rest, and then I guess you ran out of space, so let's see if you have the rest of it on the screen. All right, you stopped at the rest. But so far, so good. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay. And we have Sanet Mika. Finishing it off. Can be a total, not totally, but a total mess, and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by not yourself, but itself. Oh, she was speaking it on the phone. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know how Siri be butchering people's dictation up. So yeah, by yourself or by itself, but the word as a whole You said word. I mean, I know. Obi-Wan finished it out, typed it out. Can be a total mess, and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter itself, but the word as a whole. Okay, so now why am I starting off with this? This one exercise, and I appreciate that, Mika and Obi-Wan. This single exercise right here lays to rest a lot of the opposition that people may think or may creep in people's minds when it comes to transliteration and the translation processes, especially when it deals with ancient Egyptian. All right, there's a lot of people who make a lot of assumptions about whether the hieroglyphic writing system has been deciphered, whether it can be translated, whether people are translating it properly. How do you putting sounds to pictures, and you're not pronouncing things right. All of these different things are said about the language, and I've heard them all. I'm pretty much sure that I've heard them all over the years, over the last decade. I've heard all of it, and it's really just it's really a waste of time for people to jump to those conclusions without first doing some work and doing the knowledge. And so I do this exercise every now and then just to kind of lay a whole lot of things to rest with people. But what this demonstrates, as even the paragraph says, is that the way our minds work is we lean towards patterns. This is a default setting that we have. This is an innate ability and thing that we gravitate towards as human beings. The way our mind works, and we gravitate towards patterns. Patterns become recognition. We recognize patterns when something repeats itself, or that we can group things. And there's a phenomenon. There's another similar phenomenon, related phenomenon, not quite with like this with characters and words and things, but with faces. And I forget the term for it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna find it real quick. I think it's pareidolia, and I probably butchered the pronunciation up, but I'm gonna find it for you all real quick. I want to make sure that you all know what I'm talking about. So give me 1 second here. Yeah, it's called. Oh, I had it correct, but I'm probably mispronouncing it. But I'll spell it for you. I'm gonna put it inside the chat because I want you all to look this up. It's called pareidolia, and as a matter of fact, let me get the pronunciation. And that's what you should do too. Any words that you don't know how to pronounce, and I know we learned this in school, in grade school. A teacher always tells us, sound it out, and then, but now we have technology. We have online dictionaries where you can literally pull up the word on an online dictionary and then click the sound bar and hear it read to you. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Let's because I really don't like butchering words. That's like a pet peeve or stickler of mine. And wow, this one happens not to have an audio. Let me let me go to a different dictionary. I know some online dictionary should have it. Let's see. Where's the pronunciation? Here we go. Okay, so let's hear how it sounds. And I don't think you all will be able to hear it. And it is not playing for me. Oh, pareidolia. All right, so you all have heard it. Pareidolia. Let me make sure. That's a little weird pronunciation. Pareidolia. Oh, pareidolia. All right, this one's pronounced in a pareidolia, but okay, I was real close. All right, so but I want y'all to look that up, pareidolia. And basically what that is it's the tendency for us to perceive specific, often meaningful images in a random or um, ambiguous visual pattern. But what they apply that term to is when we see faces in non-facial objects. Two eyes, nose, a mouth, basically those things. Two eyes, nose, and a mouth. And on Facebook, if you're friends with me on Facebook, or you're able to look for me on Facebook, I have a photo album of a lot of examples of pareidolia. All right. Now, but back to what I'm bringing this up for. I'm bringing this up because the same thing happened in faces, and that's an innate ability that we have as human beings too. Because as babies, we recognize faces, and animals do this too. You know, they can recognize your eyes, your face, and things. But when it comes to writing systems, we lean towards patterns in everything, and all across all different aspects and spheres of life. But what you see it on the screen, we're able to do this because we are programmed with patterns, visual patterns of words. We have spaces in between the words, and there's certain elements in the word that we're able to pick up and recognize the pattern, even if all the words are not in their correct positions and places, as the paragraph says. So I'm gonna read it one more time. According to a research at Cambridge University. Now, how am I able to just read that bit just there? It's because we don't read letter by letter. Our mind leans towards groupings and patterns, groupings and patterns. And so once something is programmed into your psyche, it becomes, burnt. And that's what we refer to it as, burnt in the psyche. Some people may say burnt in the spirit because people relate the word spirit to psyche, the word psyche and psych, and psycho for psychology. But this is what we do. And this goes for everything. Now, the reason why I often show this is because when people, let me see if I can show you all something else. I'm gonna give you all an example of something else. Okay, here. Okay, so when you look at a text like this, at first glance, if you're not familiar with any patterns, number one, let alone any of the single characters, in what you're looking at, you're gonna see this as nothing but chicken scratches, like goobly gok. You're like, okay, the only pattern that you can recognize is that, okay, whatever this is, it's written in rows, because you can see a space between, and let me move my cursor so y'all can see. You can see spaces, small gaps, in between rows. That's the pattern that you see immediately. You just see gaps between rows. So you're like, all right, well, at least I know that this must be something written in rows. And then obviously another obvious pattern that you see is red contrasted with black on the tan background of the papyrus. All right. Now, I'm just showing this as an example. We're not going to get into this, or maybe we will. I don't know. We can actually go over this too. That's a totally different topic. I'm just showing y'all as an example. So if we were to pick up a Chinese newspaper written in Chinese with Chinese characters, we would be lost. We would look at it and be like, wow, this just looked like a bunch of, symbols, just a bunch of symbols on paper. All right. And the reason why that is because you haven't been trained or programmed to recognize patterns. And so growing up, we speak, we read, we write English. And so we develop these patterns. And so once you develop it, you can't lose it. It's like trying to forget your name. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever tried to forget your name? It's something that you can't do. Well, this is along those lines. So anyway, so when people look at the glyphs, what is the formal Sesh Meta Netcher, and what I showed is what they refer to, like they refer to as hieratic, what I just showed. But whether looking at either one, people don't see it as writing. They don't see it as a communicative device, a visual representation of speech. And so people look at the hieroglyphs as if they're individual pictures. And it's because people have that tendency to look at them that way, because there's no programming yet. They will make these assumptions that, well, how do you put sounds to these pictures? How do you do this? You know, you can't do this, you can't do that. And those assumptions are made. But think about the logic. What you're looking at on the screen right now, although these characters are not images of anything in our surroundings, they're characters nonetheless. So the same way we can apply sounds, or the proper terminology is mapping, the same way we can map sounds or phones, which is the technical term for sounds, the same way we can map phones to characters here, as everybody know and can read, this is the same way people do it for any writing system, whether it's pictorial in nature or not. All right, the hieroglyphs happen to be pictographic by nature. What you see on the screen right now are not, but the same thing can be done. All right, so anyway, I just want to put that to rest for the like 20th millionth time. All right, so let's move on. I want to kind of start off with that, warm everybody up. All right, but what I really want to get into, I want to just go over this brief thing with you all. So I want to make sure I get this very, very clear. All right, so the nuts and bolts of the writing system. The writing system, I'm speaking about what the glyphs that you see right above Egyptian hieroglyphs, which is the phrase Sesh, Ni, Medew, Netcher. The writing of divine words. All right, Sesh, Ni, Medew, Netcher. And some people shorten that as Sesh, Medew, Netcher. All right, because the Ni is optional in terms of creating a genitive construction, which is beyond the topic of this discussion, but nevertheless, Sesh, Ni, Medew, Netcher, which is Egyptian hieroglyphs. So we're going to start off with a writing system. What is a writing system? A writing system, broadly defined, writing represents the unambiguous, visible representation of speech. Therefore, a writing system is any conventional method of visually representing verbal communication. All right? That's what a writing system is. A writing system is the medium where meanings that are engendered by a particular language are expressed in a visual instead of spoken form. In this sense, it is always linguistic. To help remember, we can say writing can be read out loud. The set of physical written signs is called a script. The process of encoding and decoding writing systems involves shared understanding between and readers of the meaning behind the sets of characters that make the linguistic unit the signs represent. All right, so hopefully you all followed that and understand that that's what a writing system is. So now let's just kind of break this down visually. The written communication process is as follows. So we have on the left, we have a writer, a person who writes. What they're doing is they're encoding meaning and what could be said out loud or verbally into a writing system. So there's a conversion process where a writer takes that which can be spoken or communicated and then encodes it within a writing system. All right, what you see in the middle. And I'm not sure if y'all can see my cursor, and I don't think you can, which is why I always have my trusty arrow. So a writer encodes into a writing system. The reader then takes the writing system and decodes it so that they're able to read it. So the process of reading is simultaneously the process of decoding. The process of writing is simultaneously a process of encoding. So if you're a writer, you are also an encoder. If you're a reader or you're reading something, you're also a decoder or you are decoding. That is the communication process. Now, what is encoded and what is decoded is for another conversation that I've had many, many times, which is what is a word? All right, where I go over what are words really. Because although we use words and we call these things, we use words, W-O-R-D, we really don't know what a word is in general. It's not until you sit down and have a full discussion about it that you realize, okay, well, oh, that's what a word is. But anyway, that's a separate conversation. I'm not trying to detour into that conversation tonight. So let's keep it moving. So to continue, what is a writing system? Continue. The set of rules relating a given set of written signs to the linguistic units represented, that is sounds and meaning, is called an orthography. So we're defining all these terms, all right? So I want y'all, y'all can take screenshots of this and make sure you all become familiar with this. Orthographic units, such as letters of an alphabet or what's referred to as signs or symbols, are technically called graphemes. All right? Or graphs as well. These are a type of abstractions analogous to the phonemes of spoken languages. In the same way that the surface forms of phonemes or speech sounds or phones and different phones representing the same phoneme are called allophones. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody about a lot of these different terms. Let me get my arrow here. So let me read it, and then I'm going to summarize. The surface forms of graphemes are glyphs, sometimes graphs, namely concrete written representation of symbols. And different glyphs representing the same grapheme are called allographs. And I'll break that down in a second. Hence, a grapheme can be regarded as an abstraction of a collection of glyphs that are all semantically equivalent. In other words, different physical forms of written symbols are considered to represent the same grapheme if the differences between them are not significant for change in meaning. Now, what I read may be confusing, and I know through my experience, people take pause here. And because it's not a classroom setting that I normally would have this discussion in, where I can have some real-time interaction and people can ask me and interrupt me and ask me questions, I'm gonna just summarize this. Try to do my best to summarize this better based on what people ask me about this. So, all right. So first of all, orthography. What is orthography? Orthography is the complete set of rules given for a set of signs and all the linguistic units. So that would be punctuations, capitalization, the characters, spaces, is a double space, single space, all those different elements that are within a writing system is the orthography. Okay? So that's basically what that is. Now, the signs or symbols are called graphemes. Now, graphemes are abstractions, and they can be compared to phonemes. So the difference between graphemes and phonemes is that graphemes lead to something that you are going to see, and phonemes lead to something that you're going to hear. Okay, so we got eyes and ears involved. Graphemes are on the side of visual, eyes. Phonemes are on the side of ears and hearing and sound. The word phone, everybody knows phone means sound or should. And graph means to write, something that you're going to see. All right, but now graphemes and phonemes are at the abstract level. And we refer to this technically as the emic level. Now, what we actually see and what we actually hear are the graphs and the phones. So graphemes lead to graphs and phonemes lead to phones. And that's what you actually hear are phones, and what you actually see are graphs. All right? So now I just want to leave you with that. Everything else, I don't want to go beyond that. I don't want to confuse you. So, but let's keep it simple, just like what I just said. All right. Now, here's going to be a demonstration that kind of illustrates it better. So, this is the difference between a grapheme and an allograph, and it's going to explain further what I mean. So, for example, let me grab my arrow. I hope you all are keeping up. As I'm going through this, I'm not able to see the chat unless I move some browser windows around and everything like that. But hopefully everybody is still riding with me here and following along. Now, if you were on the panel, by the way, the panel link is in the chat. You'll be able to interrupt me. I wouldn't mind that. But if you have a question or is any of this confusing, man, type it. Take note of it, and we'll come back to it because I'm gonna open this up. All right, but let's keep moving. So, for example, there are many different physical representations of the lowercase letter b. All right, so look at these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 different representations of the same letter B. Okay, there's 6. And all are considered to represent a single grapheme in the orthography of English. So all 6 of these iterations of the letter B represents the letter B. All right. Now, in today's world, in modern talk and technology, we would call these different fonts. Like, these are 6 different fonts that the letter B is in. And we have typology and fonts and font faces and things like that. That's the kind of language that we use today. But on the linguistic side of things, these would be considered allographs of the grapheme B. All right. So now let's keep going. It's because the substitution of any of these for any other does not change the meaning of a word that they are considered to be allographs of the same grapheme, which can be written B. All right. So now in linguistic notation, graphemes are usually placed between arrow brackets, the pointy arrow brackets that you see here. All right, that's just an FYI. Now, to demonstrate this, so we have the word boy, and notice that I changed this B to this B, which is bold and it's in a different character, different font style. But it didn't change the meaning of the word. It didn't change the word at all. We have the word box, same thing. That B in box on the left and the box on the right are different letter B's, different styles of the letter B, but it didn't change the word at all. Okay, and so we got job, excuse me. Um, See, that's that Christian, all that Christian talk sneaking up on me. I said Job instead of job. But we have job, we have ebony, abstract, and alphabet. So you can see the letter B in all of these words never changed the word or the meaning at all. And it's because of that fact that all of these different letter B's are called allographs of the grapheme B. And that's what you see on the right hand side. So we have the grapheme B, and then all of these are allographs of B. Okay, so I'm sure you all followed that. I can't make that any simpler than that. All right, so let's keep it moving. So now, this is just a single character example, which is the letter B. But let's look at a full sentence. Let's pull the full sentence up. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 instances of the exact same sentence on the screen. And the sentence reads, the Egyptians referred to themselves as the Remich, their language as Rani Kemet, and their polity as Kemet. So all 4 of these sentences say the exact same thing, have the exact same meaning, and everyone will be able to read all 4 of them with no problem. But they look different. So every single character in these sentences are allographs of the grapheme that underlies it. So the T's, look at the T's. So we have the T here. That the first T in the first example is different from this one. Second one different from the third one, and different from the fourth one. So we have 4 different T's in here, but they're all allographs of the grapheme T. Okay, so this is just a full example. Now, like I said, in modern everyday talk now, in modern times, we would just say, hey, these 4 sentences are written in 4 different fonts. That's what we would say. Very simple, right? Right. I don't want to complicate anything. This is real simple. So if everybody's still riding with me, rocking with me, let me check in. Let me check in with everybody. Let me check in. Are you still with me? Yes or no? Just hit me up and say yes or no. If anybody say no, we're gonna stop the car, pull into the rest stop. We riding down the highway right now, and I don't mind pulling over to the rest stop. Somebody got to use the bathroom. So you all let me know if you're with me. Yes or no? Y'all with me? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? See, I like participation, because y'all have to understand. My zone is in classroom. I'm a classroom person. I like learning environments, classroom. I need that engagement. I need that interaction. I don't like to just sit here and lecture. But it's hard because there's a delay. So, but I want everybody to tell me yes or no. You with me or you're not, or who's not? Who's confused? Cause we could pull over now. The rest stop is right down the road. We could pull over. They got a snack machine. They got a water fountain. They got a bathroom. Bathroom's pretty clean. We could pull over in the rest stop. All right, so it looks like everybody's still with me. So I'm gonna keep it moving. All right, so I don't want to take too long. I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm sure somebody will ask something if all right, so let's keep it moving. So now to move forward, the 2 categories of writing systems. All right, writing systems may be divided into 2 categories according to what kind of linguistic unit their signs represent. In logographic writing, each sign represents a meaningful element like a word or a morpheme. In phonographic writing, each sign represents a phonetic or phonological element with no reference to meaning. Most modern writing systems are phonographic, for example, English. So English, our writing system that we use, which by the way is a Latin script or Latin orthographic script that we use for English, it is phonographic, where all of the characters in our writing system, our alphabet and everything, represent phones, not meaning. If anybody asks you what does the letter A mean, and y'all know, you'd be like, huh? What? What do you mean? What the letter A mean? You know, it means the first because it's the first letter of the alphabet, so it means the alpha. It's the alpha and not the omega. You know, A to Z, the alpha and omega. You know. Anyway, so keep it going. Chinese writing would be considered the most prominent example of logographic writing. Phonographic writing systems may be syllabic or phonemic, and with that you have alphabetic, abjad, and abugida. According to whether each sign represents a syllable or a phoneme. All right. I don't want to complicate things. I'm gonna keep it simple. So we have two types. Where's my arrow? All right, here we go. We have two categories. We have logographic and phonographic. And of the phonographic, you have syllabic and phonemic. And to keep it simple, syllabic means that a character can represent a full syllable, or it can represent a phone, a single phone. So that's where you get syllabic or phonemic. Then you have logographic writing, which means that a symbol represents a word, a full word. Hence the word logographic. The word logo comes from logos, which means word, the Greek word logos. All right, so let's keep it moving. So here's a diagram to help you all understand this. So we have pictures, which are pictographs or pictograms. Then you have proto writing, which is writing, proto writing. And give examples of Ice Age cave art, Amerindian pictographs, many road signs, mathematical and scientific symbols, music notation. All right. Now, we don't get to an actual writing system until we have a phenomenon that we now call the rebus principle at play. Okay, and this is why you see the word rebus or rebus symbols here. It's not until this comes into play that we now have writing. That's why you see it says full writing. Everything prior to this is not really writing. So when you hear people talk about cave art and petroglyphs or things like that, and they want to categorize that as writing, you stop them in their tracks and say, nope, pump your brakes. That is not writing. Writing is technically on the other side of the rebus phenomenon. Okay, and I'm going to explain that in a second, what that is. But then from full writing, you have syllabic systems that branch off into a syllabic, logosyllabic, logoconsonantal, consonantal alphabet, phonemic alphabet, and then logophonemic alphabets. And so this is the different gradation of writing systems. Okay, so English will fall way on this extreme, where things like Japanese kana and Chinese are on the left extreme, linear B, etc. All right. So and the hieroglyphic writing system falls somewhere in between, but to the left of Phoenician, Hebrew, and Arabic, those writing systems. All right. So sorry about the blinking, y'all. When I move this arrow around, my monitor don't know how to act. It doesn't like me doing that. Okay, so I hope y'all got that. All right, so let's keep going. So now we have the question: what are the hieroglyphs? What are they? Now the answer is, visually on their own, each Sesh Netcher glyph is a pictograph consisting of pictures of the natural flora, fauna, and all the man-made objects indigenous to the Nile Valley and Delta corridor. All right. So here's some examples. So we have a picture of a water lily. People like to call it a lotus. We have a picture of an elephant, a picture of a lion, a picture of a crocodile, a picture of a giraffe, a picture of an owl. So all of the glyphs, these are just, 6 examples of 1,000 in the up to the Middle Kingdom. 1,000 glyphs in the inventory. But all of them are pictures of something. And that something is either flora, fauna, or man-made objects. Okay, we're keeping it simple. That's what they are. So that's what the hieroglyphs are. That's what the Sesh Netcher glyphs are. And by the way, FYI, each glyph is called teet, an image in the language. Teet. All right, teet. Now, when it comes to pictographs, what are pictographs? So, well, let me read the whole thing. Drawing is the origin of writing all over the world. Most signs of early writing systems are pictographic in origin. All right, they all start off with pictures of something and then develop slowly over time. Pictographs are signs that represent particular images in a consistent way. A conventional relationship must exist between the symbol and the object being depicted. In other words, the object depicted and the meaning are always the same. And we refer to that as WYSIWYG, which stands for what you see is what you get. WYSIWYG. The word pictograph is from 2 words in Latin: pictus, which means painted, and grapho, which means to write. So this is called picture writing. All right. So we have a drawing of the sun, and then we have the stylized version of the same thing on the right. All right. The left is a drawing, and on the right, same thing but stylized. Both of these are pictographs. Let's keep it moving. Now, within the hieroglyphic writing system, we have 2 fundamental principles at play. So Sesh Netcher is a writing system that is characterized by 2 principal features. 1, signs or glyphs with phonetic or sound value, and then signs or glyphs with a sense or meaning value. So we have phonetic value or sense value, sound or meaning. Now, each glyph used to write any given word generally functions in one of the following roles. So it either functions as number 1, either an ideograph or logograph, 2 as a phonograph, or 3 what they call determinatives. All right. Now, we're going to deal with ideographs first. What are ideographs? Ideographs are glyphs that are used to represent a concept or idea independent of any particular language and specific words or phrases. The word ideogram or graph is from the Greek word idea, which means idea, as we say, and grapho, to write. So this is idea writing. So an idea represented by a symbol could be, for example, heat or daytime. Okay, these are ideographs. So this same glyph that is in itself a pictograph, that's what it is, but in this instance on the screen now, it's functioning as an ideograph. All right. Logographs. Move on to logograph. Now here is another key point of a writing system. The decisive stage in the development of writing comes when drawings are stylized, which are pictographs, and become representations not of the object itself, but of the word, which is the word logograph, representing the object. Okay, so logographs are signs that function as graphic representations of specific morphemes, words, or phrases in a language. The word logogram, by the way, logogram and logograph are used very often interchangeably. I prefer to use logograph in all of my work and things like that. All right. But I, remind everyone that they're used interchangeably because I don't want people to hear me say logograph and then read logogram somewhere else and then be thrown off. All right. So the word logogram is from the Greek logos, which means word, and the word grapho, which means to write. So this is word writing. So we have picture writing, idea writing, and now we're on word writing. Although the same sign can be used as a logograph in different languages, the way it is pronounced can be different, depending on the language in which it is functioning as a logograph. This is due to the fact that logographs themselves do not indicate their pronunciations. Okay? So that's very important to understand. So to repeat, logographs are not anchored in pronunciations in and of themselves. It all depends on the language that the logograph is functioning in. All right, so we're going to show you some examples. So here are some logographic examples. So across the top we have the number, and I know y'all can't see my cursor, so let me do that. Across the top we have numeral 1, numeral 2, and numeral 3. So these glyphs or these graphs or these symbols that I'm pointing to, 1, 2, and 3, are characters. They are symbols. They are glyphs, or they are graphs. All right. Now, they stand for words, which makes them logographs. Remember, logos mean word. So these stand for words. But depending on which language you're functioning in is going to change how that word sounds. So that's what you see on the left-hand side. The left-hand side, you see the different languages. So in English, this symbol is pronounced 1. But in German, this same symbol now is pronounced eins. 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 Excuse me to all you German speakers out there. I probably butchered your language just now. But you have eins. Eins, eins. Okay. In Swedish, we have it. It. That's the same symbol now. The symbol didn't change. The pronunciation changed. And in French, we have un. And we put Spanish, uno. In Rodney Kemet, we put wa. All right. In Cleon, we put u. In the Ewok language on the Star Wars movie, we put cha cha. let me stop. All right. So let's go on to number 2. So listen. So this second symbol in English, we refer to that, or that represents the pronunciation to, or the word to. All right, because remember, these symbols do not represent sounds in and of themselves. That's why they can change up depending on which language you're in. So this symbol represents the word zui or zwe in German. In Swedish, dva. Tvo. Okay, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying my Swedish. I'm trying to get my Swedish on. And in French, do. Uh, this symbol, this third symbol, is represents the word three, dre, tree, or three, or trois. I'm probably butchering these things up. I know y'all laughing. But anyway, yeah, I hope you all get the point. That's what logographs are. Are y'all still with me? Let me know you still with me. Just say yes or no. All right. I'm gonna keep it moving, but type into the chat that you still with me. And if I see a no, I'm gonna take note of it. But hopefully y'all still with me. All right. Minus my butchering pronunciations of these words. But hold up. But the takeaway here is that these symbols across the top they function as logographs. These symbols in and of themselves have no pronunciation attached to them. It's not until it gets mapped to a word in a language that it becomes a logograph, and it will have the pronunciation of that word it represents. So in English, these are symbols for 1, 2, and 3. In Spanish, it'd be uno, dos, tres. All right. In Ronnie Kemet, we have wa, sen, chomt. All right. Keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. I hope y'all learning something now. Like I said, come here. We want takeaways. All right. So to continue, the conventional use of the term ideogram has extended its meaning to also include representations of literal objects, which are pictographs, and words, which are logographs. Now, although these words differ in their technical meaning, it is not uncommon to see them used interchangeably by scholars. And so, the only reason why I say this is because, and get my arrow. When you read publications and scholarly works, you will find that non-linguistic scholars, scholars who are not focused on linguistics and do technical work with languages and things, you will often see them refer to pictographs, ideographs, and logographs, all three as ideographs. They kind of put them all in one bucket. Now, in a normal situation, that's not really a problem. But when you focus on language and you're actually doing linguistic work, that does become a problem. So that's why I teach and let people know this, okay? Because around here, we make sure we call things what they really are. So we don't do that around here. We don't just lump everything as ideograms, all right? But I have to mention it because if you go read a book tonight, you're like, well, y'all, I don't know what y'all talking about, man. Pictographs are ideograms. Logograms are ideographs. No, they're not. All right, but you will see them used interchangeably by scholars because of the tendency to do so by them, but that's not what they are. All right, let's keep it moving. Now we're moving to the other one. Phonographs. What are phonographs? So phonographs are glyphs that represent not things, but the sounds of the language. The word phonograph, as everybody should know, comes from the Greek word phone or phone, which means voice or sound, and grapho, right? So this is sound writing. So you see how we went from picture writing to idea writing to word writing. Now we're at sound writing. Now, there are phonographs that represent one consonant called monoliterals. One mono, easy to remember. Two consonants called biliterals. Bi means two, right? And three consonants called triliterals. Tri means three. Tricycle. All right, easy enough. You also have quad and quins. All right, but we don't have to get into all that good stuff. You have mono, bi, tri, quad, quin, and so on in the Egyptian language, but those are much more rare. Now, all early writing systems make use of the rebus principle. So here we get into the rebus principle. Because remember when I showed y'all this, writing The phenomena we call writing does not occur until you have the rebus principle at work. Okay? And also with that, you have a logographic phenomena at work as well. Okay, so now we're gonna get into rebus principle. So all early writing systems make use of the rebus or rebus principle, by which a pictographic sign originally representing one word is used to represent another word with the same or similar sound value. All right, so if you a little bit pause on that, don't worry about it. We're gonna get to it. I'm gonna help you out here. So, what is a rebus? A rebus is a message spelled out in pictures that represent sounds rather than the things that they are pictures of. Okay? And trust me, all of us are used to rebuses. All of us are. You just may not know that that's what it is or that's what it's called. So now you're gonna know. Okay, so again, a rebus is a message spelled out in pictures that represent sounds rather than the things that they are pictures of. A popular rebus example is the pictures of an eye. Oh, where's my thing? Okay, pictures of an eye, a bee, and a leaf. All three of these can be put together in the English rebus, carrying the meaning of I believe, which has nothing, the word I believe, or to say I believe, has nothing to do with eyes, the insects, the bees, or leaves falling off a tree. None of that makes sense. It, or corresponds to the phrase I believe. But that's what this spells out. I believe. So you take away the image or the pictographic functionality of these glyphs, you detach it from the picture of the object, and you're only using it for the sound. Because we pronounce this picture as I, we pronounce this picture as B, and we pronounce this picture as leaf, we put them together, I be leaf. And we say a little faster, I believe. That is the rebus principle at work. All right, y'all got that? Y'all follow me? So again, we're going down the highway, y'all, and I don't mind going off on the off ramp, or we passed the rest stop, so we may have to pull over to a gas station. So you gotta let me know if you're lost, okay? If your mind gotta take a little stop here, but I'm gonna keep it going. Oops. So here's now I'm gonna skip this because I did an entire, like, in the video I've done many times already. I've done a video on the mechanics of a word, or the mechanics of language. What is a word? In that video, I demonstrate and show how the rebus principle is what it is. Like, what is the rebus principle? More specifically, I break it down further. All right. But that's a conversation that will make this a little lengthy, and I don't think that I need to go through that now for your understanding. Just right now, understand what a rebus principle is, and I'm giving you an example. Okay. Here's another example. Somebody finish that sentence in the chat, and I'm gonna wait for you. Finish that sentence, and I'm gonna read what was typed out. It's hard to believe some people because they what? And this how you know. Yeah, Sonat Emicat put the link to the video that I'm referring to in the chat. But this how you know we're all used to rebus. English rebuses or rebuses. But I want y'all in the chat to finish this sentence out. Finish this. It's hard to believe some people because they what? They what? Okay, and I know there's a delay, And I really don't like that delay, so I'm gonna keep on talking. But I really want to see what y'all come up with. What does this mean right here? All right, let's see. Let's put some answers on the board. All right, so we got no hold bar says lie. No, Philitentus says be lying. Well, you okay? Technically, oh, be lying. Yeah, be lying. There you go. All right, you got on third try. You got on third try. No, because I mean you're spelling it. You're spelling it like literally what it is, but you get it. So that shows me that you get it. Robert Rand says full of crap. Robert Rand, boy, you would fail the lesson. You would fail. You'd be telling the truth at the same time, but you'd be failing the lesson. You walk out with an F, an E, getting incorrect. But anyway, so the rebus here is be lying. Now this is a picture of a bee and a lion. But we're not concerned about the bee literally or the lion literally. We're just concerned about the sound. So now we can read it. It's hard to believe some people because they be lying. And everybody says that. We all got that friend. We all know somebody. We all have somebody be like, man, it's hard to believe that dude, boy, he be lying. He be lying. I need to make this into a T-shirt. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. Don't nobody steal that idea either. Got people be trying to steal ideas. But anyway, all right. So hopefully y'all get that. Y'all get that? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you got it or not. All right, but I'm gonna keep it moving. So what I'm about to show you all now is a real ancient Egyptian visual rebus. Okay, an actual visual rebus. And I've shown this many times. So if y'all heard me go over this before, cool. If not, then hey. Okay, so here is a visual rebus at work. Now, what June said, if you from New from New York, it's they lying, B. They lying, B. They lying, B. Or you got a picture of a son. They lying, son. Sunny son. All right. So where were we? Okay, the rebus principle. So this is an actual ancient Egyptian rebus. All right. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I have red, black, and green arrows pointing to the corresponding words that these pictures or images represent. But the reason why this is called a visual rebus is because this is an actual statue of actual objects that are executing the rebus phenomena. All right. So the red arrow is pointing to. Let me get my arrow on here. All right. So the red arrow is pointing to the sun disk above the child's head. And this would represent the word Ra, or pronounce Ra. The black arrow is pointing to the squatting child itself, and it represents the word Mes. In the Egyptian language, this child is called Mes. This is how we would pronounce this, Mes, which is that which is born, from the word Mesi, to give birth. Okay, the root Mesi. So Mes. And then the plant that this child is holding on to in the Egyptian language is called Su, which is a sedge plant. So together, this statue is spelling out the rebus in Egyptian language, Ra Mesu. And this is none other than Ramses as a child. This is the child Ramses. So not only is it the child Ramses, but the statue is spelling his name visually as well. Let alone the glyphs around the base has his name right here. Ramesu. Okay, Meri Amen. This is Ramesu Meri Amen, and this is Ramses that you're looking at. So you have Ra Mesu Ramses, and so you have it spelled out here. Ra plus Mes plus Su is Ramesu Ramses. All right. And every time I show this, people ask me about the falcon behind him. And so to avoid anybody asking me tonight, I'll just go ahead and tell you. This falcon is a deity called Harun. Hurun. Okay? Not Heru, but Harun. All right? And that's a whole nother conversation, but that's a different deity there. It's a falcon deity named Harun. And you see his name in the glyphs. You see the falcon's name in the glyphs. It says, it says Sarah, Ramesu, Meri Amen, Meri Harun. So he's beloved of. So Ramses' name means Ra gave birth to him, beloved one of Amun, beloved or beloved of Harun. All right. So just want y'all to understand that. All right, let's keep it going. Now, the consonant signs build on the rebus principle. The signs representing 2 or 3 consonants usually correspond to a full word root, such as this glyph. I need my arrow. Such as this glyph right here, representing the word her, which means face, or the 2 consonants, the H and the R in the word hair, the consonant sounds, or the consonants H and R in the word heret, flower, or this glyph here of a star representing the word sabah, which is the word for star, or the 3 consonants S, B, and the diacritic 3 in the word sabait, instructions. Signs representing 1 consonant build on the acrophonic principle. That is, they represent the initial consonant of the word on which the pictorial sign is based, such as representing the consonant D because the hand glyph depicts an open hand and the word for hand is direct. So that initial sound, that D in direct, becomes the useful portion of the sign in other words. Okay, the acrophonic principle, and acrophonic is the when it take the initial sound. All right, the acrophonic principle is also used in the first purely consonantal writing system, the ancestors of Phoenician writing. All right. So, to further elaborate, now we come to what people like to call determinatives, which is cool. That's an appropriate name because of what they do, how they function. They do help determine the meaning of words. So, because they help determine the meaning of words, they call it determinatives. Okay, and that's cool. But it's kind of shallow because they also function as classifiers, or what we call semantemes, which deal with meaning. Okay? Now, words spelled with phonographs usually have 1 or more signs added at the end that serve as classifiers to determine the range of definitions that are applicable to a particular word. This helps give the semantic category of the word as homophonic same sound signs are common. So here's some examples. All right, where's my arrow? So we have these glyphs right here spell out the word peret. All right, we transliterate it as PRT. The Egyptological spelling and pronunciation is Peret. Okay? So I'm giving you the transliteration, the Egyptological spelling and pronunciation, and then the glyphs themselves. Okay, Peret. Now, what I want you to notice that these three glyphs are in all three of these words right here. The difference is that they have additional glyph at the end, or glyphs at the end, that help determine the meaning of the word. And they all mean something different. So in the first example, we have the word Peret. And by the way, all three of these words are transliterated the exact same and pronounced the same. Peret, Peret, Peret. So if you didn't see the glyphs, and I just said Peret 3 times, that's exactly what you would assume. You would assume that I'm saying the same word 3 times. And you'd be like, well, what's wrong with y'all? Why do you keep saying Peret? Peret, Peret, Peret. But I'm actually not saying the same word. It sounds the same, and that's where you get homophonic words, all right? But keeping it moving. So in this word, you see this last glyph of a circle with a dot in it. That's the determinative. This classifies the word. If this puts the word in a class or a category that dealing with time. And so this word Peret is the word for the season of emergence. This is one of the seasons of the ancient Egyptian year. Ancient Egyptians had 3 seasons to their calendar, to their timekeeping system. Peret is the first season. Excuse me, second season. Second, not the first, second. First season is Akhet, second season is Peret, and last season is Shemu. Okay? The season of emergence. The next word is also Peret, pronounced Peret, transliterated the same way, PRT, but notice that these have 2 additional glyphs that this one didn't have. Okay, this is a plow, and this is a glyph that represents plural or mass nouns or substantives. And as a side note, if you ever hear me say mass nouns or mass substantives, it simply means these are uncountable or liquid type things. So for example, water would be represented, it would look plural, but it's really a mass noun because water cannot be counted. Okay, the drops of water and things like that. Salt, sugar, sand on the beach. Those are mass nouns. All right. What else? Yeah, so just keep that in. That's a little side note for y'all. But the plow indicates that this word Peret has to do with farming and seeding. So this is the word Peret, which means fruit or seeds. Okay, but seeds are very, very small, so this is a mass noun because it's like a handful of seeds. You're not going to count all those seeds in your hand. Just like you're not going to count all the grains of salt or sugar. You measure. These are measurable nouns that they could be called as well. You have to use a measuring word added with it. You have to say, give me a cup of water. Give me a teaspoon of salt. You can't say, give me a salt, unless it's already packaged up. Anyway, last one is Peret. You see the walking legs, which denote motion, category of motion. So this Peret means to come forth or to exit something, to emerge from somewhere or something. All right? So those are the determinatives. Let's keep it moving. Now, here's a very good one to understand, and you all have to get this. This single glyph here, in these 3 examples here, is the same glyph that's going to function in 3 different ways. And this is an illustration of what I said initially, where that every single pictograph, remember, what are the glyphs? They're all pictographs. That's what they are. But how they function depends on the word that they're used in. And they can only function one of 3 ways in any given word. But the glyph on its own has the potential to function in any of the 3 ways. But once it's actually used in a word, it's going to function in one of those 3 ways, not multiple ways. Okay, so I hope y'all follow that. So this same glyph that we see here, which is a floor plan of a house, or an enclosure as people call it. In the first word, it is being used as a logograph, and is a very good clue to it being a logograph because we have this single stroke under it, which is referred to as a logographic stroke. What that stroke does, it tells us that this glyph is indeed a logograph, which means it represents a word in the Egyptian language, a full word. That word is per, which is the word for house or estate. Okay, that's the first word. The second time this same glyph is used, it's not being used as a logograph anymore. It's being used as a phonograph, which means it represents the 2 consonants of what this glyph is called. So the PR consonant sequence is being used in this word. So we have the word peret again, and that's identical to the season. So this one is the season of emergence. So it has nothing to do with a house or an estate. It's being detached or decoupled from the image that you see, and it's only being used for its consonantal sounds, the sounds it represents. That P and R, per, or peret in this case. The last one example, the same image or the same pictorial or glyph is not used as a logograph or phonograph. It's used as a determinative, which, by the way, are not pronounced and not transliterated. So this word is khenret or kheneret, and it means camp. So this glyph is serving as a classifier in the category of enclosures or dwellings, dwelling places. And so it comes at the end of this word kenneret to let us know that this word has something to do with a dwelling place or an enclosure, and this happens to mean camp. Kenneret, camp. All right, so I hope everybody get that. Now, if this is the first time you all are hearing all of this, you know, I know you might have to come back to this video and rewind and listen, but everything that I'm saying to you right now and have said this entire video is what you learn at a beginner's level in my classes. All right, and then some, but I'm saying all this information is at the foundational level. You have to know this stuff. This is very, very fundamental to understanding the ancient Egyptian language and writing system. Okay, so this is beginner level material. All right. Now I know I'm not in a classroom setting, so I'm kind of just summarizing and going over it. But you know, there's more that could be said about all of this stuff. Okay, so hopefully everybody follows that, right? Now, what I often get asked is, well, what about the pronunciations? What about pronunciations and things like that? Because, you know, people hear me say, and everybody else, anybody who teaches and deal with this will tell you that the ancient Egyptians, the scribes, when they wrote their language, they did not include vowels. They didn't represent the vowels in their writing system. So it's like, well, if it doesn't have any vowels, how you know how it's pronounced? And that's very easy. Scholars simply came up with a pronunciation convention. And so what we do is we put an E in between the consonants. So this is why you hear me pronounce this as per or per, and this one as peret or peret, peret or peret. And this is why you hear me pronounce this as kenret or kinneret. That's the conventional pronunciation. By no means should anybody take that to mean that that's how the ancient Egyptians pronounced the word. But the way a word is pronounced does not prevent us, or I should say the correct way of pronouncing a word, or accurately, historically accurate, does not prevent us from knowing the meaning. You could butcher this word and pronounce it poor or par or peer or peer or whatever you want to pronounce it. It's not going to change the meaning of that word. Okay, so just as an FYI. So now that brings us to the vowels, right? So the Remich, or the ancient Egyptians, they did not write their vowels. This is similar to Hebrew and Arabic, where a person who is familiar with the language can figure out from the context which words are meant by which group of signs or glyphs. So let me get my arrow here. This is not hard as it seems. For example, read that. So I want somebody in the chat to type this out. Type that out. All right, let me move this arrow on the other side. I want y'all to type that out. And I'll wait for the first person. First person is good enough. First person, type this out. First person, type this out. You get some plus lessons. We're gonna mimic the lessons, the NOI lessons, the 5% lessons. About to do the student enrolled, the 1 to 10, the 1 to 40, all that good stuff. Now, but let me see. So right. So MF Taharko Soul, he writes, he says, you can probably read this sentence without trouble, and that is okay. So we got two people. You can probably read this without trouble. Okay. Good. And that's correct. Both of you all are correct. All right. So now notice that none of this has vowels in it, but you know how to read it, just like a Arabic speaker and reader can read Arabic without the vowel signs in the language, and the same thing with Hebrew. So the Semitic speakers and writers, they do this all the time, and so can we with English. If we had to, just like you all just did. All right. So I want you to understand that it's not hard. So now, the English words read and road would look exactly alike if written without vowels, because all you would see is a RD, right? We could tell the words apart by adding a determinative of a book and a street path with each word respectively. So if I put RD and a book after it, you would know that meant read. That's the word read. If I put RD and put a street pathway or like a curved road street after this RD, you would know I mean road. So you get that? That's how determinatives work. Okay? That's how determinatives work. All right. So I hope everybody followed that. And I think that I don't want to overload everyone or anything like that. And I'm going on an hour and a half of being live. So the next half an hour, I want to take some questions. If you want to pop on the panel, you're invited. If you want to type in there and ask some questions, feel free to do so. And while I'm waiting for that, let's give some bonus information. Let's do something bonus. Now let me ask y'all a question. So this is going to take some this is going to take some participation. I have a question for you, for everyone. How many vowel sounds? How many vowels do we have in English? And don't everybody tell me at once, but I know y'all gonna be fast, and I know y'all know this. How many vowels do we have in English? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Okay, I got it. So RL says five. Tahuti Wasamat Ra Sneferu says five. RL says sometimes six. Yep, five plus one. Amin Mins Ra Sut Atum. Philightentis says six. Okay, great. All right, cool. Now, I am sorry to tell you all that you are wrong. Every last one of you are wrong. You're like, what? Wujao is tripping, boy. What is Wujao smoking tonight, boy? I know he said 2 days is his birthday, but maybe he's celebrating too early, boy. What you smoking on? What are you smoking on? No, you all are wrong. You all are wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you. I am going to prove it to you right now. All right? So y'all ready for this? So, but that's the answer I get all the time. I do this test all the time. I've been doing this test. I've been asking the same question for 10 years. And I get the same answers. And I'd be surprised that people I ask, they're not in the same group that I previously did this test with, so they could kind of spoil it. They spoil the fun. But anyway, no, this is a learning experience. Everybody says five or six. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Right? That's the normal thing. That's what everybody does. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. That's where you get the 5 plus 1. Some people say 5. Some people say 6. But that wasn't my question. Okay, so here's the answer. There are 20 vowels in the English language. 20. There are 20 vowels. I know you like, and now I know y'all really like, oh man, Wujao is tripping. Because there's only 26 characters in the alphabet. What does Wujao mean it is 20 vowels in the English language? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? 20 vowels. All right, so anyway, let me let y'all know. And Afro Ninja said 7. He tried to be odd. he said, everybody, hey, have y'all ever watched Price is Right? I know I'm about to go off on a tangent, but listen, gotta have fun sometimes. Do y'all ever watch Price is Right? Hold up, Teddy said Wujao made that up. I got something for you, Teddy, in a second. I'm just trying to build up the suspense. But listen, if y'all ever watch The Price is Right, right? You know how when they bid, when they before the contestant come on the stage, they got to bid on whatever. And you know how everybody underbid, and you got that one person, the last person, he be like, $1. Or they'll try to go low. They think everybody overbid, so they'll say $1. Or they'll try to go $1 over the highest one. That's what Afro Ninja just did. Everybody said 5 and 6. And then Afro Ninja said 7. 7. All right, but anyway, all right, so let's get back to this. Oh, Sumo, hey, I appreciate and put this on the screen. I appreciate the super chat, and you asked, are your books available in PDF? The answer is no to that. Try checking on Amazon. Here's a super chat. Have a coffee, something. Hey, I really, really appreciate that, because I don't really make it a habit to solicit funds or donations and things like that. And everybody tells me I should, but I appreciate it. I'm going to chalk it up to a early birthday gift, man, because my birthday is Thursday. All right, appreciate that. But the books are available on Amazon, but not in PDF format. All right, not in PDF format. Because see, the reason why I give classes, like I'm very hands on, so it's better, what better way to just have access to the author who wrote the books or whatever than all that kind of stuff. All right, but okay, yeah. I usually let me just put because somebody asked me my Cash App. My Cash App is $Wujau, just like y'all see it on the screen. $Wujau. That's my Cash App. I keep everything simple, y'all. Y'all don't understand. I keep everything simple. All right. So anyway, let me get on the other side of this suspense. Okay. So listen. My question was, how many vowels are in the English language? And everybody pretty much said 5 or 6 or 7. Some people said 7. All of that is wrong. There are 20 vowels in the English language. I repeat, there are 20 vowels in the English language. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you without telling you. So now on this screen here, because I'm going to answer you and show you at the same time. Demonstration beats conversation. Okay? I have 3 words on the screen. Let me bold them. I got 3 words. I have father, I have the word fate, and I have the word fact. And I want y'all to take keen note of this, right? The A, the letter A, and I need my my trusty arrow here. The character A in each one of these words represent a different vowel. So, to explain further, the A in the word father represents the vowel ah, and this is how it's notated. And as an FYI, when you see letters or characters in a square bracket, it is usually denoting sound. This is how we represent sounds in the language, with square brackets. Okay? So the A in the word father represents the vowel ah. So we say father, father. Okay? That's one vowel. A separate vowel is the A in the word fate. That represents the vowel A. Fate. That's different than ah. So you got ah and A. Okay? That's a completely different vowel. The third vowel is different from the other 2. We have fat. We have fat. So we have 3 different vowels in these 3 words. We have ah, a, and ah. Ah, a, ah. Ah, a, ah. Those are 3 different vowels. And I bet y'all didn't even know that. You know it, but you don't know it at the same time. Remember that. You know it because you use it. The word father is not foreign to you. The word fate is not foreign to you. The word fat is not foreign to you. So you know this stuff, but you don't know it at the same time. Okay? So these are 3 different vowels. But what confuses people and why you all answered me the way you did is because the same character is used for all 3 of these vowels. Okay, do y'all follow that? So y'all type in the chat. Let me know if you understood what I just did. If y'all understand, yes or no. Are y'all still with me, or do I need to pull on the side of the road? Do I need to pull over again? Do we got to have a rest stop? Do we got to go to the rest station? Do we got to go pull up a gas station? Y'all got to get out? What? Do I got to pull the school bus over? What I have to do? Y'all let me know. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? Ah, a, ah. Ah, a, ah. 3 different vowels, but they're represented by the same character. So the character is written in braces, curly braces. Curly braces is the normal or standard convention for graphs. Okay, graphemes are put into pointy arrow brackets, and graphs are put into curly braces. Okay, these are FYI. I'm giving y'all some jewels, some pearls, some FYIs. I hope y'all are taking notes. Teddy said, "Pull the bus over." Now you have to get this, Teddy. Yeah, just say it out loud to yourself. Father, fate, fat. These are three different vowels, but they're represented by the same graph or the same character or the same symbol, however you want to say it. That's what throws people off. That's what throws people off. Okay? But this is important. Now, because I'm running up, I got 10 minutes left. I was gonna show you all, some other things, but I'll do that as a continuation, as a part two. But I want everybody to digest the little bits that I went over today. All right, because like I said, we're all learning this, and I want to clear up the confusion. I don't want anybody to be arguing over this stuff anymore. We got to get past this kind of stuff. Anybody bringing up this silly stuff? See, I look at it as silly. People saying, "Oh, it had to, the glyphs can't be read. It's not, it's unpronounceable. It's just really magical letters and how you put sounds to this and that. And it's really not a writing system. Or writing system goes back 24,000 years ago." And I mean, I listen. For the last decade, I've been hearing it all, and I just sit there and I just look, and I just shake my head, because everybody that tries to run those things, they don't study. It be the simplest things that could just knock over entire conversations, and that's why people say, "Well, y'all, you be taking the fun out of it," because everybody want all the drama and talk about it. Yeah, and the Medew Netter has never been deciphered. Who sound like that? My name is Sarah Sutin Seti. Champollion and them. Nah, let me stop. Oh my goodness, boy, that was fun though back then. But anyway, so y'all get that. All right, so listen. So I'm gonna stop here. We're gonna stop here, and for the next 10 minutes, if any of y'all got any questions in the chat or y'all want to hop on the panel real quick, go for it. All right. So just remember this. I want y'all to digest this, because there's more. I could go through a lot more, but I'll save that for another video. All right, and I'll label it part 2 to this one. It won't be tonight. All right. So let's get it in. So y'all got any questions? Anything? Let me take this off the screen for right now. Stop making this big. And the whole time, Senate Imicat and snuck in and didn't say a word and whatnot. But I know Imikat's been around every time I explain this stuff, so she probably like, "Oh, okay, you doing it again? Oh boy, oh boy. It's like the 50th time you're not going through this." All right, so let's see. So Teddy says, "Was this in your book?" Yes, Teddy. This is in the book. It's in one of them. It's definitely going to be in the upcoming book. And by the way, you all, I'm doing a complete language book. It's going to include the beginner's level and the advanced level all in one book. So but basically what that means is that you're going to learn, the beginners is really, all the focus on the beginner's level is really about how the writing system works, and then some basic, very, very basic grammar. The advanced is really all into the morphology and syntax of the language, which is the grammar. So I'm combining all of that into one publication. and I hope to have that done this year. And then it's off to the races because I'm gonna go hard. I'm going hard. When I publish that, it's that's a wrap. Anybody who wants to get involved and want to learn and really want to have some insight about the ancient Egyptian culture for whatever reason. I don't care about your reasons. If you think that you're ancient Egyptian, hey, so be it. If you just want to learn to just be able to argue with people, hey, whatever floats your boat. But in this environment, you're gonna learn, and so it's gonna be a wrap. It's gonna be a wrap once I get the book out the way. But anyway, so yeah, this information is in the book, and of course I'm explaining it a little different now while I'm live, but it's in there. It's in the decipherment book. Everything that I went through today. Okay, the rebuttal book to Walter Williams's claims. All right, so that's that because we only got a little bit of time, y'all.
Yeah, it's in the decipherment book, and I put the link for if you want to get the book, because I guess some people haven't gotten the book yet. If you haven't gotten the book, I put the link where you get to get the book and then get the free course as well. And that also goes is with video instructions that are going to be uploaded soon. That goes over everything that's been said here, which might seem crazy. Like I know Teddy was wondering how with the vowel stuff, but it is I guess when people are talking about the five or six vowels, they're actually talking about the graphical representation and not the phonetics of it. And when you get the book, then you really get to understand that we have, like, on the alphabet, you have a limited set of graphemes that Uja was talking about in the beginning, but sounds come more. We have more sounds than that. So, but we use these graphemes to represent different sounds. So that's why the grapheme that you saw for the letter A can actually be used to represent different sounds. That's not just ah. So you'll be ah, eh, and things of that nature. And if you get the book, you'll even find out more where you have actually certain. We can actually get a particular sound, just one sound that can be represented with different graphs as well. So, and that also has a different name. So understanding how a writing system works is really good, and you will get all that when you get the book. You get that very, very basic foundation, so that you don't kind of sit and be in that group of people like, how did they decipher this thing? Is it really decipherable? Can you really use symbols to represent sounds? It's impossible, and things like that nature. So get the book. I would definitely recommend that you get the book. It's necessary, especially when you're learning any writing system like the Sesh or any even Chinese, whatever, just to understand the very, very basics of what happens, all the beautiful stuff that goes on in a writing system.
Which one of your books would you recommend I purchase for me to familiarize myself with the study of ancient Egyptian script at Emicat? Thanks for the links. Okay. Emicat basically, now what I would recommend in terms of the script, because you mentioned script, it would definitely be the book and a link that Emicat provided in the chat. All right. But only because you mentioned script now, because I say you gotta get them both. All right, let's keep it moving. Um, Sharp Spear. Was Kemet ever used as a personal name or personified? Was Kemet ever used as a personal name or personified? Now, that is a kind of tricky question because I'm not sure which Kemet you're referring to. And that's important for me to say that because um, let me show you all something real quick, and this definitely has to be clear, very clear to you all. Um, Remember when I had this up on the screen? I'm gonna put this right back on the screen. All right, and make it big so everybody can see it. Okay, so now, so remember what I said that these. Oops, I'm moving this around. These three words, these are three separate words right here. Now, if I were to type them online or in the chat or whatever the case is, no one is going to be typing these glyphs for us to see the actual word. So we have to rely on transliterations, right? So if I were to type these three different words into the chat right now, they will look identical. It would be PRT, PRT, PRT. So you wouldn't know which word I'm referring to. You see, so when people ask me, so when you ask me the question about KMT or Kemet, I don't know which Kemet you're referring to. So that's why I say that's a tricky question. All right, so you got to understand that, and people need to gain that understanding, because people ask me all the time. They will do that to me. They'll say, "What does this word mean?" And I'm like, "Show me the glyphs." The only way I can tell you is if you show me the glyphs, or you give me some kind of clue to which set of glyphs you're talking about. Even if you can't draw them, write them, or have the software to do them, show me something. Take a screenshot, picture with your phone, whatever. But people have to show the glyphs, because like I said, these three words are three different words. But when I type them out, it'll be PRT for each one. So, having said that, coming back to your question and put it back up. Coming back to your question, was Kemet ever used as a personal name or personified? And so it could, because it depends on which Kemet you're using for. There's a Kemet, the toponym, the place name Kemet. Was it ever used as a personal name, whatever? No, because then it wouldn't be a toponym. It would no longer be a toponym. Remember, toponyms never refer to people; they refer to places. That's why they call it topos onym, which is two Greek words for place and name, place name. All right. Now, Kemet, being used as an epithet and things like that, you have it used as a adjective. It's used as epithets for a few people. Usir is known as the perfect black. You have the word Kimware, and stuff in there. The masculine form, because Kemet in an adjectival form is feminine. Okay, and the masculine counterpart to that would be Kim. Kim versus Kemet. All right, so hopefully that answers your question. Next one. Let me shrink my screen down a bit. Does all American dollars have Kemet symbols? He said, does all American dollars have Kemet symbols? When you say American dollar, you talking about the dollar bill or the five? Because we have multiple denominations of dollars here in America, the U.S. currency. So I think you mean dollar bills, and people say, the pyramids and stuff. So every single dollar bill, yes, it has that on there. But if you mean like fives, tens, 20s, 50s, and $100 bills, does it have symbols on it? That's a good question. See, I'm not wealthy and rich. I don't have a whole bunch of $100 bills sitting around to pull out and show you. Hold up, let me see something. Let me dig in my pocket and see. Let me pull out this $1 million bill right here. Let's see, this $1 million bill. Let's see, on the $1 million bill, does it have any Egyptian symbols on it? Well, the $1 million bill has Osiris, Heru, Jehudi, and they have the family of 9 on the $1 million bill. Y'all want me to take a screenshot and show you? I could take a screenshot of this $1 million bill and, and show you. Now let me stop playing. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Definitely not off the top of my head. And plus, I don't. Like I said, I'm not wealthy like that to have the different denominations to whip out and check for you. So no, that's something I could we could look at together. Oh, he said never mind. Dag, he said never mind. Okay. Let's keep going. And Sean, I don't know what Sean said. Never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison. See, now I can read that because of what I explained earlier. So that's a good one, Sean. I'm gonna have to steal that from you. I'm about to steal that from you. Sean P. Leave it up to Sean P to put in some Belle Biv DeVoe. All right, let's see. And Sharp Spear says Kim. Yeah, Kim is used, but it depends on what it means. See, people assume that Kim always means black, and it doesn't. There's a word Kim that means completion, complete. There's a word Kim that means perfect, which is a synonym for complete. There's a word Kim that means total, which is the same semantic scope as being complete. Because when you total out something, it's to complete an order, or to complete a count. Um, there is an adjective Kim that means black. There's Kim that means some other things, and so it all depends. So just double back on that. And let's see. Yeah, Ramses said all currency. So yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Uh, let's see. Anything else? I'm getting to the end. All right. Yeah, this is about time. Time is up, y'all. All right. So listen, I appreciate everybody tuned in to the show. Hopefully you all had some takeaways from this, and we're gonna do this. I'm gonna keep up these different series of make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, and make sure you like the video. All right, these YouTube algorithms love the thumbs up, so for that reason, thumb the video up. Like however many people are watching, that's how many thumbs up this video should have. All right, to get more exposure. That's what they say. The more likes you get, the more exposure that your videos will get. Right, and I'm trying to clear up all this stuff so that we can move forward. We can build on better conversations. I'm really tired of the same old conversations in the circus community. I really am. I tolerate it because I understand that there are genuinely new people who come into contact with information, and they deserve and have a right to the information. You know, and for that reason, I will definitely continue to tolerate it. But it's definitely frustrating sometimes when I see the same people with the same arguments, the same old tired surface microwave conversations. They have to step up their game. People have to step up their game and really learn this stuff. And if you don't want to learn it, that's cool too. Like everybody don't have to, but if you're not willing to learn it, then shut up about it. Speak on things that you do focus on. Speak on things that you are good at. You know, that you focus on, good at, or have a high interest in. If people worried about food on the table and money in my pocket, then man, hold some financial classes. I thought I saw Mo in the yeah, Miss Lamb. Monica is in the chat. I mean, I just thought about finances, and when I think finance, I think of Monica Lamb. All right, and not that y'all should contact her to borrow money from her, but no, you contact Monica to get on some financial education because her shows are off the chain. She's talking about um, all kinds of ways of managing money, making money, saving money, how not to waste money, how to invest money, and all that stuff. And as the saying goes, money makes the world go around. You need money to function in this world, and you gotta leverage it. So all the ideas, keeping up with all the latest and greatest um, financial hacks, as they call them. And Mo, I she said don't call. She's not lending any money. Nah, I don't mean that. She's not lending any money. She'll lend you some financial information and resources and everything. Yeah, I'm trying to have a conversation on the importance of credit, Mo. So next time you all talk about that topic, let me know. All right. But anyway, so that's my time, y'all. MK, you have anything that you want to share? Anything close out?
Then
All right. So, it said Mo float me a rack. All right. So, hey, I appreciate everybody tuned in, and I'll do a part two to this to kind of continue down the the explanation, and what I'll do is I'll demonstrate the transliteration method. You know, we've done it many times, but I'll do it as a part two to this video. And all right, so I'll see you all, and I'll see you all next time. And I really appreciate y'all tuned in. Thanks for the super chat. That was Sumu. And all right, so y'all be easy. And Shem and Mahotep.